Just coming to you today to show you how I turn this box into this. Stick around, it's coming up. Thanks. Okay, so here's what we got. I get questions from my relatives and friends and stuff like that. They say, hey Rich, you come up with these custom-made boxes. Are you the box king? I said, you know something? I should brand myself as the box king. And, let people know, like, hey, anything is possible. We can make custom boxes for anything. You could take a box from another box and use it and combine it and ship it and shape it any way which way you want. So my thing is I've been doing it since I got into eBay, doing eBay full time. I've been doing boxing, custom boxes, I guess pretty much the whole time I've been in this business. And the reason why I do it is because if you want, here's an example. I got two of these. These are this is a Fender Stratocaster Xbox guitar, right? Okay. I got two of these. I picked two of them up. They both sold. And whenever I get items like this, I pick these up at thrift stores, yard sales, garage sales. I always ask myself, if I sell this, what am I going to sell this in? Like, I know I'm going to put it in a box. There's no doubt about it. But it's always packaging. It's always packaging these things and making sure it gets to the buyer in one piece. So I came up with a rule, and this is my own rule, and nobody has to follow it. If you did in the past, because I made other videos about custom boxes and stuff like that, and you might say, well, Rich, I tried your technique and it didn't work. I sent an item and it didn't work, and the item got there broken or whatever, not enough padding. Well, let me explain something, the way I look at it. I use what I call the 2 to 3 inch rule. And now, like I said, this box here is, you can see it over here, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but you can't from that distance, but it's 18 by 18 by 24 inches. Now, you're probably wondering how I turn this box, this into this. Pretty simple. First off, I took this box, right, and I cut it open. Well, not cut it open. I lifted it up, and it was just standing there. It was just standing there, like on the floor. So I said, wait a minute. Because now I'm thinking, you can't put the item in this way. You can't put it this way and say, well, maybe I could just ship it out that way. You can't, because look, here's the folds. You got a fold here, right? And you got a fold here. So even though the box is this size, you say, well, 18 inches. Well, this guitar ain't no 18 inches, you could say, with the folds. All right. So here's the situation. So I said to myself, I'm looking at the box and I'm saying, you know what? There's got to be a way to make this work. So when I took the box, I left it standing up like that. I said, wait a minute, this is perfect. Now look. I said, aha. I got room on the top and room on the bottom. Which works with me with the 3 inch rule, 2 to 3 inch rule, okay? Now you might say the 2 to 3 inch rule, what is that supposed to mean? 3 inches on each side to give this thing a proper packaging, okay? So what I did was, and I suggest people to do the same thing. You might want to keep, I'm not saying for everything, but keep boxes. Like let's say you go to a store. I'll give you an example. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you the boxes I picked up, and then we'll get right back. You'll see. Okay. We all know that boxes all come in different sizes and shapes, dimensions, and so on and so forth. This is my supply here of the boxes I picked up at Walmart. When I usually go to Walmart, I pick them up sometimes 4 at a time, 4 each. If there's less stock, I pick up 3, 2, whatever it is. I try to get my hands on whatever I can. Now you might say, well, you want to call yourself the box king, then why you got to buy all these different size boxes? Well, let me put it to this way. With these boxes, the reason why I buy different size boxes, and you can say, well, you could have just bought one. I mean, I'm going to use them, okay? Sometimes, let's face the facts, I mean, I don't mind making boxes, but then there's times you say, you know what? you might be rushing, you know, you gotta get something out right away, it might be at the end of the day, you wanna get it to the post office. And believe it or not, it takes a long time to make boxes. Just to craft this box, it took me at least, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes. It depends, because you gotta measure it out, and I'm gonna go over that with you. But like, for example, here's a nice little box. This box here costs, I think, 38 cents, if I'm not mistaken, at Walmart. It's a nice size, okay? Now, my thing is, if you got the room, my thing is to get a box like this, separate it, take it apart, and use it as a template. Now, I'm not going to do this with this one, but I mean, I have a box like this here, but I make templates with them, okay? I bought 3 of them. Now, the same thing with this. Now, if you look, I got all different size boxes here. I got this size here. This one here, just to give you a heads up on this one here, this is a 6x6, 6x6x6. 3 6s, watch out for this one. But I got 3 of these boxes, okay? They're 6x6. And it's a nice size. If you're selling all different types of items, little items, like I sold the other day, the black 8 ball. This would have been perfect for it, right? This box would have been perfect for it. Apparently, I used the other one up I had for something else I was sending out, and I had to make one. So I made it this size. I had the template, and I made it this size, and it worked perfect. Padding around it, boom, send it out. Okay? So I got that size box. I had this one over here, a 12 by 12 by 10. It's a nice size box. Now I sell stuffed dolls, okay? Sometimes they're big, 23-inch dolls. Sometimes they're small. Now that'll fit in that box. Okay? You know, little things I have, sometimes I put in padded envelopes. Like little stuffed dolls, I'll put in padded envelopes. I said to myself, what do I need all these? Why do I gotta put something in the pot? You know, I'm not saying, like for a hat, when I sold a derby, I had to put it in a box. I mean, you know, you don't want that getting flattened out. You don't want to put it in a bag. Okay, so now, all right, so I bought 4 of those. Okay, I got this at the, I believe this was at, whoopsie, I got this at Walmart. Another size box. And you know something, to be honest with you, if you can keep templates, I'm not saying to do it all the time. I say, heck, you can get boxes that size. I said, but you know what, the things that we get sometimes, they're either too big, too small, or in between. And I'll be honest with you, and let me just pick this pen up. I'll be honest with you, even with a box like this, if I had to put something in there, I would still trim this box down, cut it down in size. Because I don't need all that voided space in there. More padding. I'm not saying you don't want padding, you definitely want padding. But the point I'm getting at is that sometimes it becomes too much box, you know what I'm saying? You know? But I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but for the most part, I don't need all that boxing, you know? Like I said, I do things accordingly, and I want to make sure that the stuff is packed well, and which I always do. I mean, if you look at my feedback, you'll see a lot of times people like the feed, you know, they say good packaging or fast shipping, delivered, whatever. I try to make sure all the items I have is packed well. And this one over here, getting back to the box, it's a 16 by 16 by 15, okay? And that big guy that I made the box for, put these on the side. The big guy, this one here, I think I mentioned to you, it's 18 by 18 by 24 inches. Okay, so now we say, okay, all right, Rich, enough with the boxes. Okay. You turn that box in, you turn this box into this. Okay, so how do we get started? First off, the things you need, basic things you need in this business. Get yourself a metal or a wood one. I prefer metal. And the reason I prefer metal is because when you're cutting with the razor blade, I had a wooden once before, and I end up cutting the wood. This is metal. Okay, you know, it's I like metal anyway. Okay, that's for me personally. Get yourself a 12-inch ruler to just get yourself set up. Pen. This is a cheap little Sheffield plastic utility knife. Got it at Walmart, I think for $2.99 or whatever it was. I picked up a pack of blades with it. Pops open, the blades pop out. Quick release. Okay, so now you say, okay, all right, let's get back with the box for the guitar. Let's move this on the side over here. Okay, so how do we start? How did I start? I took that box and I opened it the four corners. I opened it up as a square. And I cut it down the line. I took two. Okay? I cut it down the line, and now I got two boxes out of this. Now people are saying, how are you going to get two boxes? How are you going to turn this into this? Very simple. Let's put this to the side. First off, again, I do the 2 to 3 inch rule. Very simplified enough. You take the item that you're going to sell, which is the guitar, and you lay it out. And you say, okay. Now, again, with the 2 to 3 inch rule is, I figure that this here is going to have enough padding between top and the bottom. Now, you're probably going to wonder what this is all about. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that. I'm prepping this here. I got 2 of these to send out. But before I box this up, I'm going to use this box as a template for the other one to save me a lot of time and trouble going through the measurements and stuff. Alright, so I took the fold, I folded the box first like this. This is the original fold. I said, okay, I want it to have enough space in there. Okay, I want it to have enough, I don't want it to be close to the box because I want padding on it. Okay, so what I did was, I took the fold and I said, you know what, I'm going to do the 2 to 3 inch rule. This one here, I don't know if you can see it, but this says 3 inches from here to here. It should be 3 inches. Now, it's a very cut and dry process. When you're doing the 3 inch rule, it's 3 inches all the way around. Okay? 3 inches from the width, you know what I'm saying? In other words, the guitar itself is roughly about, I'm allowing 12 inches on it. So if you go 3 inches on each side of this here, it should give you approximately 12, well this is almost going to go to 12 and a half. Okay? So when you fold it up, you'll have something like that. See? It'll be something like this. This will give you an idea what it's looking like. Oops, let's close it up here. But this is what it looks like. It's going to look something like this, and then you fold it over. Okay? Now, the same thing on the sides. People say, well, what about the sides and all that stuff? You know, that you have flaps here. The same thing. Very cut and dry. You're not going to cut the dimension out because we want the height on both. And remember one thing, when you're doing a box, a custom box, and you're going to use that, I call it the 3 inch rule, make sure you have 3 inches from the fold. So, wherever the fold is going to be, and it, well, all right, in this particular case, we're measuring from the fold, but we're not going to use the fold. I don't know if that sounds confusing to you, but let me explain what I'm talking about here. Let's move the guitar. As you can see, the guitar is on the fold marks. It's on both of the fold marks. We're not going to use those fold marks because, again, it's too small. So we're going to put the guitar over here so we don't damage it. And when I'm talking about the fold marks, these, pretend these are not folded. Okay, pretend these are not folded. We're not folding these things. These are going to stay part of the regular box. Okay. When I'm talking about the fold mark is from here on, because we want to go down. We want to make sure that space is there all the way around. Right. So from the fold mark down, I went to the outer side. I went to the outer side of the box, or the bottom of the box, I should say. Right. And here's your fold mark. Okay, so now I mark it with my ruler, score it with my utility knife. Now I got the fold mark here. I'm making a fold on the fold mark. I'm making measurements on the fold mark. Okay, I don't know if I'm confusing you. I'm sorry if I am. We're not using this fold mark. Okay, we're not going to use this. This is where the box would fold. We're not using that. This is going to be part of the box. This is going to be actually a box. That's how we're doing it. So from here down. Okay, after you do your measurements, you're going to make the 3 inch mark, 3 inch cut up here, fold down. Oh, and here goes the box, falling down. Thank God the thing wasn't in there. Okay, so that's how we got that going on here. That's what we got going on. So then when everything buttons up, when you button everything up like this, you fold these down, like this, like this. Have your tape buddy with you. Have your little tape gun with you. And what you're going to do is, you're going to tape these guys up. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but along here, sometimes if you make the cut a little too deep, it makes it, you know, you make the cut a lot bigger than what it is. So you don't want that there. So what you're going to do is you're going to put brown craft tape over this here. Okay? You want to dress this up as best you can. You don't want it to look like, a homemade, custom-made box. You want this to look like something store-bought. Now, once you get that done, you tape it all up. And you have the box, right? This will fit right in there. And you'll have 3 inches, you should have the 2-inch or 3-inch mark full on it. You'll have enough. Now you might say, well, wait a minute, that looks a little shallow. It's okay, all right? Because we're gonna pad up here, and we're gonna pad at the bottom. So I'm not worried about that, okay? But I could have probably make it a little more. I could have probably cut the thing a little less big. Instead of 2-inch, 3-inch, I could have made it 2.5-inch. But we want to keep the box somewhat sturdy. This will be fine. This will be a fine box because it's hard plastic, and we're going to have padding on the bottom and the top and the sides, and we're going to have it where it's going to float in the middle. We don't need too much. We don't need the thing to put this thing in here and have that much padding in there. We don't need that much. If you have to put that much padding in there, then you really got a problem with the Postal Service or whoever you use it, because now you know they're going to end up throwing this thing around like a volleyball. It shouldn't be like that. Okay? The other thing I like to do, okay, so that's how I turned this box, that big box, into this. Okay? I was going to go out at one point. I said, you know what, maybe I can get a bigger box and just craft it and not do all these things. Now, on this box here, here's the other question one of my family friends and family inquired about. What about the sides over here? What about this side here? Here. That's simple. You just double tape it. That's all. You double tape it up. That's all you got to do. You double tape it. It'll be good. It'll be just as good. You won't have no problem with it. Okay? Now, the other thing in prepping, when I prep stuff, I like to always prep it where it's going to look good for the buyer. I mean, it shows the buyer that you care about their item that you send it out. And I'm going to be right back, and I'm going to show you what I do in prepping this here and how to get it ready to go for shipping. I'll be right back. Okay. I just want to get my tape guns, the craft, it's not craft, it's the brown tape and the regular clear tape. And I got a pair of scissors. What I do is, now, with this item here, this is the Guitar Hero Rock Band. I like to make sure, everyone will say, well, you can just leave it on to the guitar and just send it out that way. I like to take it one step further. These bags here, just a little point of suggestion if you want, a little tip. When you get the bags from the dry cleaners, don't throw them out. Save them. You might say, oh, Mr. Frugality again, here he goes, he's saving bags. No, I'll tell you what, because if you go out and buy plastic, big thick plastic, whatever, to wrap your stuff, I like to wrap my stuff up before I ship it out to a buyer. And I like doing that because, like I said, again, it shows the buyer that you care about their product, that the item that they are selling, and you want to get there, in nice, clean condition. So what I do is this. Here's the guitar strap. I take that dry cleaning bag. I wrap the item in there. Okay. You want to make sure it's wrapped all the way around too. I mean, and sometimes when you cut it from the when you're doing other stuff like that, you cut it, you end up cutting it too short on one side or whatever. So just make sure, you're getting enough plastic on there. Cut it up without cutting the strap. So these scissors ain't the greatest either, but just for demo purposes, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so now you have the item like this. I like to always put a little tape on it. I hope the buyer doesn't get mad and say, wow, this guy had to really tape it up here. But I like to take that extra step and do that. Okay. All right. Okay. So now you got a clean wrapped guitar strap handle. Okay. I put a little extra on there. Sometimes I go a little crazy with the tape. I don't mean to, but again, I like to do these. These are things this is what I do when I'm sending my stuff out. This is what I'm doing. What I'm showing you guys here now is how I send my stuff out. Now with the extra plastic, now here's the thing, another thing I want to use here. I could do this two ways. I could put the plastic on and wrap this down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this here and I'm going to put a piece of tape on it to hold that handle down, okay? But I want to hold it down in a way where it's not going to be, where it's going to damage anything. You know what I'm saying? And then put the plastic over it. So what I want to do is get that there, hold it down here. Let me just make sure this doesn't, looks like I got a little smudge on there from something, I don't know what. But hold on for a second, folks. I'll be right with you. Okay, folks, I'm sorry I'm back. I forgot one thing before I do my prep work. I always like to get a cloth, a dry cloth, of course. Sometimes you can use it damp. And this here is black. It's a black guitar, as you can see. It's got the black paint finish on it. And I like to always just give it a once over, dust it up, make sure there's no dust on it. Try to get a lint-free cloth if you could. Okay. And just give it the once over, you know, make it look nice and pretty for the buyer. Okay. Now, what I was talking to you before, we want to keep this thing down. We want to keep that down, I guess, reverber thing, what do you call that thing there? So what I do is, I'm going to take a piece of plastic like this again, go along like this to the back. Now the reason why you're doing this, you do not want to put adhesive on the back of that. Okay, you don't want to do that. So the other thing is also have a piece of tape ready to do that. Okay, so let me go like this again. Let me go like this. Have the tape over there. Very carefully without destroying anything. Okay, see? Because we don't want to put, we definitely don't want to put any, you don't want to tape this up. That's crazy. You don't want to do that there. They'll get it, they'll have glue all over it, you know, the tape and stuff all over it. You give it a once over, you take the bag. Now, a lot of people might not do this, and that's fine. You don't have to do this. This is what I do. This is what I do for the buyer, because I want the buyer to know that I take pride in my stuff and how I sell it. Okay? I'm not saying because you guys don't do what I do, you're not taking pride in your selling. This is just the way I do it. Okay? So after I do this, okay, put it over here. You want to leave enough here. You don't want too much excess plastic, but you want enough to cover it up. And I take these scissors that ain't really too hot. I gotta get a new pair of scissors, but you try to cut as best you can, like that. You don't want to send. You don't need all this plastic. Okay, let me get rid of this. Now this is what I do when I send stuff out. Again, you don't have to do it. You know, however you do your business or how you do your, that's up to you. Okay. So what I do is afterwards, I take it this way, very carefully, without jostling things around. And the same thing. I just put the tape over here, like this. Try to grab it tight if you could. Okay. And again, make sure you're not on the plastic when you're doing this. You don't want to have that stuff on it, because the buyer might complain saying, "Oh, I got the item and it was all taped up and I couldn't get it off." You don't want to go through that route. Okay. And once the tape sticks with this type of plastic, forget about it. It's on there. I mean, well, I'm not talking on the guitar itself. I'm talking on the plastic. Okay. And you do it like that. Same thing over here. Like that. Now, a lot of people might say, why would you go through all the trouble? I mean, you just throw it in a box. It's done. I mean, you don't have to really go through all of this. You don't have to. I like to take things the next step. That's how I like to do things. That's how I like to run this business. And anybody that buys from me, I'm not going to say I do this on all things, but like certain things do require that, you know, they need to be, you know, wrapped up. I think that's a good thing. And it doesn't hurt. Like I said, and not only that, when the buyer is getting the item from you, you know, they're going to probably say, hey, you know, one thing about this guy I buy from, he takes pretty good care of the stuff when he's shipping stuff out, you know. But again, you don't have to go through all these extremes. You don't have to go through this. You might say that's overkill. And then, you know, to some people it may be. So then after I got to do now is do the packaging. Okay. Now the packaging, you're probably saying, well, what are you going to use for packaging? Well, that's a good question. Okay. Every time I come across these things to do stuff of this nature, I always come with that there. Well, what do you use for packaging? I think I told you in one of my other videos that what I do is I take paper, excess paper I have, newspaper, whatever. I have a heavy duty shredder. And I know people are going to say, yeah, but that can get heavy. And it's true, it can. But what I do is, now in this particular case, I'm going to take some of the shredded material, lay it on the bottom. I want to build up a little wall, a little barrier over here in the bottom. I'm going to put, about yay much, get this much on there, the shredded material. Then, to fill the void in, I can use popcorn, I could use bubble wrap, I could wrap that thing in bubble wrap, or I could do what I've done before in the past. Take cardboard, take little pieces of cardboard, I have cardboard laying around, and what I do is, not these pieces, but what I would do is, I'm just using an example, what I would do is I would bend these around the item itself. Like, for example, I would put this around the guitar, but only a bigger piece. I have bigger pieces of cardboard. What I do is I put this around the guitar, right, like that. Or place it around the box like this and fit it in there where it's going to be snug, where it's not going to move back and forth. But what I would do is, with a case like this, is put cardboard around this. Like a little square, about the dimension of the box, 12 inches, whatever. So it'd be 6 inches on each side. Pad it up with paper, right? Not the whole thing. I'm not going to fill the whole box up with paper. But what I would do is I'd get a piece like this, 12 inches, and I would do is I'd mask it around here, right? And stuff it with paper. Now it's going to keep the neck of the thing from going back and forth, and the same thing with here. Put the bottom over here, okay? That's what you do. And this way you stuff with paper. And this way, it's not going to get jostled around. It's going to be moving. But that's what I'm talking about. That's how I'm going to probably end up doing this. Because I don't want this to get damaged. I don't want it to flopping around there. Even if this is plastic, I don't want that to happen. Okay? Another reason why you might want to use plastic with certain things like this is because if you were to fill up, I'm not saying you would fill the whole box up, but if you were to just put shredded material in there, when the buyer gets it, and if this wasn't protected, the buyer gets it, he's going to pull out, all that stuff is going to be off. I'm not saying it's going to happen with this. That's why I'm going to put on the bottom of the box, I'm going to put the shredded material, the shredded paper, on the bottom. Then I'm going to put a couple pieces of paper on top of it. So when they pull it out, that stuff is going to sit in the bottom. Okay? That's going to sit in the bottom. So I'm not worried about that part. But if you've got a little box where you're filling it up, just keep that in mind. Especially if you sell like a little electronic radio or something like that, where it has little openings in there where that paper can get in there. You're not going to make a buyer very happy with that. Okay? In most cases, you'll say, well, I'm not going to use shredded paper, I'll use bubble wrap, and that's the best way to go. But I use both. So with this particular thing, I do have bubble wrap. I might put a little bubble wrap around here. I don't know, I'm going to see, I'm going to work it out. I'm going to do a little play around with this, but that's most likely what I'm going to do. I'm going to probably end up putting cardboard around it, a 12-inch piece of cardboard, and I'm going to fill the crevice up there, or the void, with paper, just to keep it, and it's going to be in a box, so this is going to be in a box, in this box here. So when it's going to be like this. You're going to have stuff like this on both sides, but it's going to be all one piece, right, like this. And it's going to be sitting in a box, but this is going to be taped, but it's going to have paper in between it here, and these are voids here. And this way, it's not going to move. Okay, I don't know if you follow what I'm talking about, but that's the way I've done things in the past. Okay, but it will work, and I guarantee it'll definitely get to the person in one piece. And if it don't, I'd be surprised. The other thing I want to go over really quick in regards to prepping stuff to get stuff sent out. I think I talked to you about this in the past. Padded envelopes. I had to buy more of these. I got these at Walmart. I think these are $1.98 a piece. I bought 6 of them. Now, I want to get rid of, I think I mentioned once before in one of my videos, I want to try to get rid of a lot of stuff I have because I want to try to get new inventory in. Well, I mean new inventory is all pre-owned, but some of it is new. Some stuff is new. I want to try to get rid of a lot of that stuff, and you know, if I have, I don't know how many, I have a lot of VHSs and DVDs and stuff like that, you know, stacked like that, maybe a little higher. I bought these here at Walmart. These are 14 inches by 19 inches. Big, it's a pretty big envelope. And as I told you once before, let me just get some, I want to just get a videotape. I mean, I want to show you the difference in how this works out. Okay, well, here's what I wanted to go over with you. As you can see here, I have all different types of, you know, DVDs, VHS, okay? All different sizes. Here we have a regular compact disc. All right, this is a t-shirt maker, but it's a small one, of course. Here we have a DVD. Well, not a DVD, a PlayStation case, right? Two of these here. But anyway, I'm not trying to show you or sell off on that there. What I'm talking about is the different sizes and dimensions. Like, now you might say, well, this is the same size, but if you look at it really close, this one's a little higher, this VTech. So they're not all exactly the same. You look at it, now you might say it's the same size as a regular DVD case. Not in this case. Look at it. You can see it's bigger. Okay. So the point, there's a method to, there's a reason why I'm bringing this out to you. You got this one here, the Sings. Okay. It's a thick case. Basically, it's the same. It is the same size, but of course the dimension's thicker. Okay. It has a lot to do with it. Here I have a 2-piece VHS new set kind of thing here, family classic video. But I'm doing this here, like I said, I wanted to show you the dimensions on it. Here you just got a single VHS. Here's another VHS with the jewel case. So I'm saying this all makes a difference in what and how you're going to utilize this big envelope. And then you got this, which is a little different size. Okay, you might say, well, it's the same size. Well, basically, it's the same size. It is the same size as the a regular DVD game, right? The only thing is, again, the thickness. So the point I'm getting across is, with this envelope, if you do it right, and if you're a seller on this type of item, like let's say this here, this is from Atari, the back football, whatever, or just DVDs. I'm not going here. I'm not trying to give you an intro to what I'm selling. You can see it on the eBay. But I just want to show you something. Depending on how you set it up, okay? If you go this way, and I'm going to mark this up with you, right? I'm going to do this live on here so you get an idea what I'm talking about, because I'm going to use this here anyway. So again, you always want to leave a little space, okay? And I'm going to do this here, like this. Now, again, it all depends on how you do it, you configure it. Okay, right now, if I really wanted to, I can get, that's the mark for the first one and the second one. I can get 2 right now, on just from cutting the bottom part, 3, 4. Okay, that's with this type. Now, here's the problem though, when you're going with a thick one, that takes a little away from it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, here is the VHS in here, that big case in here. See here? You can't cut this on that line. You got to cut it over here. Okay, but still, even though it's big, even though it's a bigger one, you're still going to be able to get at least 4. Okay, you're still going to be able to get 4. I think I did this in one of my videos, folks, just to show you. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I was looking at, this was $1 and change, okay, for this big one. They had, I think, 15, I don't know how big the size was, for $7 or whatever. So you're saying, well, wait a minute, you just spent, let's just round it up, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. But I could if I utilize this here, I could still get my money's worth and then some. Okay, I use these if I'm shipping out clothing. Now, if I'm shipping out a pair of pants, it gets cut in half. Okay, if it's pants, I fold them. Okay, if you're selling, you're not gonna sell a coat and put a coat in here. But if you're selling, I got like 2 pairs of jeans left. If I sell the jeans, I fold them up where they're gonna fit right in here. And I would cut this in half. like that. And now, with the cut in half, I could still, out of using this here for the jeans, right? You might say, boy, you're gonna really be falling off. Yeah, well, I'm not buying jeans that are very big, if you know my drift. So, I could use this here for the jeans, and I could also get two envelopes, two pairs, two of these. I can cut this up and utilize it for two DVDs, okay? So, that's what I'm talking about. And when it comes to something like this, if you're selling a lot of these, oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this. You could probably get 1, 2, 3, right? I would say you could probably get 6, because you gotta have a little space there. You're gonna have a little left over. But again, if you go here, that's 1, and then 2, 3 down, that's 6, and you'll have something left over here. I'm selling those little, it's like those little cartridges. So what I would do then, after I cut this down, and if let's say I was shipping out 6 of these with this here, I would cut this down. I could probably get, depending if I keep them at that same size, because I don't need a big thing for a little cartridge. I mean, you don't want to cut it so small where it's going to get lost in the mail. You don't want that either. You want something to be at least this size. So I could probably get, again, probably 3 of these. So I could utilize this one envelope. I can utilize this one envelope and mail out 6 of these. And depending on the cartridges, because they're little, I'm talking about those little cartridges, Lego, whatever they got the name of, Leapfrog, whatever, they're little cartridges. And I'm not going to custom make it where it fits right in the cartridge. That's crazy, because you got to have space to put the label on it. So I mean, let's not get too crazy here. I mean, I want to save money and be thrifty, but I don't want to be so thrifty where I send it out. I mean, I could shrink the shipping labels down really small, but first off, the mailman ain't gonna be able to see it, and the package has a better chance of getting lost. So at least like this, at least like that, okay? But I'm saying, with this, I get 6. I get 6 out of one envelope. And again, with the little Leapfrog cartridges, the leftover, I could probably get 3, maybe 4. Depends. Well, depends. So on this one envelope, you can get a lot. You can get a lot of bang for the buck for $1 and change, or whatever it is. I forget exactly, but it's $1 and change. I know that it's not $1. The dollar store sells these, not this size. They're a little small in dimension, and they're like the plastic type bubble wrap, bubble pack envelopes. But this, I got the biggest one they have, and this is the biggest one that Walmart have right now. I don't think they come any bigger than this. They do. I don't know what to tell you about that. That's big. But sending stuff like this, I wouldn't put this in an envelope, and I'll tell you why. Because first off, it's too big. It has a better chance of getting damaged. What I would do is, I think you see in one of my videos, I'm using this as a sample. When you have a lot left over, what I do is very simple. I would just pretend this is a whole sheet. Now, I'm just using an example. I don't want to take too much time. What I would do is just go like that. You take your knife, without cutting the package, bend it, do the same thing, and then you do that. You do it like this. But you're going to fold it over, of course. I'm just showing you, that's a quick way, just a quick example of what I'm talking about. That's how I would send this out. I'm not going to put this in a padded envelope because it'll be too bulky. It'll be sticking out like that. You probably could, but I'm not going to do that. I've seen things where people actually send it, but I'd rather do it this way. It's still in a box, you know what I'm saying? But that's why I say when you keep these boxes, like for example, this piece here, this is going to be for the other guitar box. I'm not going to box it up here. I'm going to use it as a template. What I would do is, see here, see this fold? If I didn't need this box and this had to go out, you fold, make a measurement, fold, 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 and then with the excess, well, of course you might have a little extra. Then you got to make the top of the box, but this would work perfect. This particular fold right here would work perfect on it. It'd be great. And then if you didn't have enough, you say, well, I don't have enough to cover it. Then you take a little piece like this. I've done this too, folks. Where if you didn't have enough, you cut a piece and you tape it on there. You know what I'm saying? You cut this out and you tape it on there, and then you got a complete box. There's so many ways to craft boxes and to save money. People might say, well, what's the big deal? What's this fetish about boxes and shipping stuff out. Well, when you're sending stuff out, you're doing this type of business. You want to be as thrifty as possible. You want to try to save on your shipping material. This stuff is expensive if you do it on a long term. I mean, look, I spent over $70 today just buying 4 of each of these boxes. $70. And you might say, well, that's not really a big thing. No, it's not. And considering what I get out of it, I stretch it. I mean, let's face the facts. You're not going to put a little guitar in a big box like this. Okay? What do you do with all that void? What are you going to do with all that? What are you going to do with a big void like that? Okay? Now, some people might look at this video and say, "Is this guy kidding, or what? Was he people are stupid?" I'm not thinking anybody is anything. I'm just trying to tell you how I craft boxes, how I do custom boxes to help people out, to help the sellers out. And if there's buyers, I'm sure there are buyers that watch these videos that they also sell as well. But I'm just trying to tell you, they don't have. I don't care what store you go in. If you went into a store and you said, "I need a box because I'm shipping out a Guitar Hero box," you got something like this? They may have it. They may have it. I went to Staples last week, and I was looking at the prices of bubble wrap and boxes. Holy smokes! When you got a chance, go price out their boxes for one box. Go price them out. I'll give you another example. I went to UPS one time because I was shipping out skis, and I have done that in the past. I was getting rid of my stuff because I gave up skiing. And I had I don't know, they go in centimeters. They were big, they were nice size. I mean, they come bigger than that. I'm not a professional skier, but the ones I had were about yay high, maybe, I don't know, 6 feet something. I had to get a box. So I went to the UPS store. Now, they have a nice variety of boxes, again, and they had a box. It was, I don't forget how big it was. It definitely accommodated skis. The box was, I think, $10 for one box. Now, if you don't incorporate this is another thing too. If you're going to sell stuff like that, all right, unless you got plenty of cash to play around, but if you're going to incorporate, if you're going to buy a box, if you're going to sell stuff like skis, and you need a box that size, and you go to UPS store, be prepared to spend a lot of money, unless they're having a sale. Be prepared to spend a lot, because I think, if not, my memory serves me, it's been a while, but I remember it was up there, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was close to $10. Okay? Boxes are expensive. And my suggestion to people who are selling skis, this is just me, if you're going to put it in a box, I would definitely go to UPS first, pick up the box or get a price on it, pick it up, and then incorporate that with your skis. So it might be a little hard to sell because now let's say this box is $10. It's going to probably be a little harder to sell because now you're padding that into your, that's part of your shipping costs. So now, you're talking $10 for the box, $10 for shipping, or whatever it is, how much it's going to cost to ship it. So just the shipping charge alone could be a fortune. Unless you're going to, take a beating on the box. I can't afford to do that. So for me, I stay away from big things like that. I'm sure people will buy them. There may be another way to do it. Maybe people just wrap it up in plastic. They just throw it in a big plastic bag, a shipping bag, or whatever, slap a label on it, they send it out. I want to make sure it doesn't get damaged. So that's why I did it. But that was back in the day. The ski boots thing. Well, ski boots is nothing. I mean, you just make a box, and you could even throw it in a fixed box. You don't have to make a custom box for ski boots. I had to do it one time because I ran out of boxes. But for the most part, you can get a fixed box, depending how big the ski boots are, and you can do it that way. Walmart they don't have that many variety of boxes, I'll be honest with you. The boxes I showed you, the 18 by 18 and 24, the other boxes 12 by 12, 16 by 16, that's pretty much what they carry. And those little guys, 6 by 6 by 6. They don't carry much of a variety. I get a lot of my boxes from Walmart. I don't go to Staples because Staples is kind of pricey. For me anyway. I mean, you guys might, whoever go out there, you might say, well, no, to me it's good. I have no problem with the boxes, buying boxes from Staples or buying them here. Walmart sells bubble wrap. I don't know how many feet it is, $16 and change. I don't buy that too often. If I get it, I'd rather get it off eBay. The dollar store sells a roll like yay big for $1. But this small bubble wrap though. It's a small one. It's not the big one. It's a small one. So keep that in mind. It's like this big for $1. If you're selling like little things, I mean, I'm not going to wrap this up in bubble wrap. I'm not going to wrap this up in bubble wrap or any of this stuff. This stuff goes in the envelope, in a padded envelope. That's it. I put labels on it. Do not crush or bend. For boxes that have this, now this box will have a label that made up. It says do not drop or crush. So hopefully it'll get to the person in one piece. I have to send the printer out. I already have it in the car. It's ready to go. If I do these boxes up, I got to get these things padded up and shipped out. I'll head that off to the post office. But I had to put on the post office box, on that box, that printer, to keep the sides up, because I have plenty of padding on it. I mean, that thing is padded to no hilt. I mean, you could probably, if you dropped it off at least a foot, it'll probably be protected. That's how much padding I have in there. But for the most part, that's how I like to ship my stuff out. You know, the thing is with boxes and stuff like that, you know, people I say, well, shipping has always been a big thing. You hear a lot of people complain about postage and shipping. And I got news for you guys. I don't know if you heard it or not, but UPS is going to go up. I think in 2017, UPS, FedEx, the postal service is going up. So you're going to see a change. You know, the rates are going to go up too. Is that going to hamper sales? It may. Some people may say, well, you know, it depends how much, what you're buying and how much the shipping is going to cost. So they're just going to do a lot of thrifty shopping themselves, you know. Whatever you have on eBay, they be probably looking. I mean, getting a lot of lookers on the eBay. They're searching, they're browsing. Last night, yesterday was great. A lot of stuff went out all day, pretty much all day in between, but you know, intermittent, but all day. Some stuff is going out today. I got, like I said, these two, what do you call it there, you know, Xbox guitars are going out. And I don't know what else is going to be going out. I shipped out some stuff. I gave it to the letter carrier earlier, the mailman, to pick it up. So I gave him about another 5 or 6 packages. A lot of stuff went out yesterday. So a lot of stuff is moving, which I'm kind of surprised, because you figure Christmas is coming around. You would think eBay would slow up a little. You know, because I think people would rather buy new stuff than buy old, you know, pre-owned. But people are buying. They're buying. And I'm hoping, I mean, like today it's semi-quiet, but we'll see how the day goes on. The day ain't over yet. You know, it's only, here at East Coast, it's 2:30. So we'll see how the day goes. But anyway, I got to get this stuff before the post office closed at 5. I'm sure I'm going to have time to do it. But I just wanted to share that with you on the boxes. And I hope what I do gives you guys a little insight, is helpful to you. I mean, I do these videos because, like I said, I want to try to share what I do with, you know, how I sell my stuff, how I package it and stuff. You know, I'm not looking for fame or notoriety. I just, I want to, you know, if it turns into something where there's a lot of people that view these videos and like them or dislike them, whatever, that's fine with me. I'm still going to do them. That's basically it. You know, if you like the channel, you like what I do with this, with the information I put on YouTube, and you guys want to give it a thumbs up, that's fine. If you want to subscribe, that's fine too. I appreciate it. Like I said, and then, you know, for those who stumble onto this here, again, my name is rjpasini from rjpasini-com. I do this here right now as a full-time business, and I love and I enjoy what I do. I take pride in my work. If something does go out as an oversight, which I hope it never does, I do apologize for that, but for the most part I make sure everything's up and up. My return policy is pretty cut and dry. If you don't like it, send it back. The other thing I just want to touch on really close, you know, in closing, is that I've been having some people, and I think I mentioned in another video, some people are telling me they're going to return stuff and they never do. I don't know why. Maybe they had a change of heart. Maybe they didn't, you know, maybe they decided to keep it. I don't know what it is, but I had, like I said, I think I had 4 or 5. I think I had 5 things that returned. One person said they're going to keep it. The other 4, I think, said we're going to send it back or whatever. It was something along that line. And needless to say, I think I only did get one thing back, and that was the software package. I think out of the 4, the one person sent the software package back, and that's being relisted. With that in mind, I'm going to try to start pairing stuff up. I don't know if I'm going to wait for the auction items to end and then pair them up. I want to get rid of the Disney tapes, the VHSs. I want to get rid of some of the stuffed dolls. I'm going to try to pass some stuff up maybe with that there. I need to move this inventory out so I can get new stuff in, more stuff, better stuff that, well, not better, I mean, these are good too. I mean, the things I have are not bad. But I would like to get stuff that's going to be more appealing to a buyer. And, hopefully, look, I want to make more sales, no doubt about it. But I want to get rid of a lot of stuff. And you might see, like, as time goes on, I'll be pairing things up to try to get rid of stuff. I need to clear out. I need to get rid of stuff, this old inventory. It's been sitting around too long. It's going out in little spurts here and there, and I don't want to. I don't want to keep it. I want to get it out. I want to get new stuff, newer items or different items. I don't know yet. I'm still debating if I'm going to get more involved with electronics. I keep saying I want to shy away from it, and then I said at one point I want to get involved with the clothes. It's kind of like a hit and miss. When you're in thrift stores or whatever, you go to yard sales or garage sales, and you see certain things. Should I pick that up? I told people on YouTube I was going to sell that stuff, and then you say, maybe I should pick it up. And that's what's been happening. I picked up a whole load of DVDs, Blu-ray, brand new stuff, and I had people buying them left and right. Some VHSs. I try to get new stuff for the most part. I always try to get new items, and that's basically it. I don't know what else to say. I hope I covered any topics. If you have any questions, the reason why I made this is because I always have people, friends and stuff like that, always asking, hey Rich, when it comes to making custom boxes, how do you do it? What do you do? This, that, and the other thing. How is it done? How do you get these measurements? How do you figure out for padding and stuff like that? And I just tell them, basically, like I said again, in closing with this here, with the boxes, making custom, I always say the 3-inch rule. All right, I know this one you've seen, when I held the guitar up, you see it look a little shallow, but that's going to be protected, believe me. There are times when you get across things like that, but there's a way I do that there in regards to protecting that particular item. It will be padded, believe me, even though it might be very narrow. But for the most part, I always try to do the 3-inch rule, which is try to keep at least 3 inches. Here's the item, go at least 3 inches above it. So you have that much padding to put on the side. Because you don't want this thing to get dropped or thing. But the most important thing is, I always like to keep where it could float a little. You know what I'm saying? So you get padding in there. But I'm not going to fill the whole box up with padding. Believe me, the way I do it is a little different than usual. I'm not going to fill this whole thing with padding. That's crazy. I have a way I do it. Like I said, I do it with the cardboard. When a situation like that arises, you get the cardboard, I go around it, down the item, I fill the voids in with paper, and keep it this way, it doesn't go back and forth. And my main concern is, because I know the sides are going to be protected, my main concern is they drop it. And that's where I put that shredded paper, and then I put the paper on top of it. Because I don't want the guy, like I said, the person who buy it, pull it out, and that's the end of that. You can have paper all over the place. Then you might not make the buyer happy. But that's how I'm going to do this. I'm not going to fill this whole thing with paper. That's not going to work. Too much paper. You don't want too much paper in there. But anyway, folks, thanks again. I'm sorry I went a little long in this here. I just wanted to share some of the things with you guys. If you see anything or you need, if you have any comments or you have any questions for me, please email me at rjpasini@verizon.net, and I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. That's basically it, guys, and I wish you all a happy holiday if I don't see you, or I should say talk to you guys again, soon. Have a happy, healthy holiday. I hope you have a good selling season for everybody, for me, you, and everybody else that's selling. And that's it. Thanks again for stopping by. You take care. Have a great day. Bye now.